So, I just started a new job, listeners.
Woo!
Woo! It's great. It's been first off, Nate from IT, if you're listening. Hi. So, Nate from IT during my first
We could change his name. Should we change his name?
Should we change his name to
Bait?
Bait. So, Bait from IT.
Bacon.
So,
Bait?
Canada.
During my day one technology check-in, as all your systems working thing, he was like, "Oh, so you still doing that podcast?" And I was like,
What?
"Excuse me?"
What do you mean still?
And he's like, "Well," and I was like, yeah, I didn't. Did I say that I was doing a podcast?" He was like, "Oh no, I Google everybody before they start."
Bait?
and
Bait?
Bacon?
Not only he was like, and I found your name came up in the description of a podcast you guested on, and from there I was able to find your podcast because I don't use my real full name in this podcast.
Right, of course.
And yeah, so I was cyberstalked, and
Fucking Bait.
Bait.
now this shouldn't surprise me because before my first day, I got this onboarding survey, and it had, normal stuff like your W-4, upload your IDs for your I-9, all that stuff. And then it had these questions. I'm going to just go through them in some sets as they start
Are
pretty
you
normal.
or have you ever been a podcaster?
So,
Have you ever been on a podcast?
So
have you
first-
ever listened to a podcast?
So the first set of questions, after we get through the basic, what's your name, all that stuff. What do you like to do in your free time?
No.
Uh-oh.
What do you consider the best movie of all time?
No.
What's your most watched TV show?
Oh my
I
god.
don't like this.
So
Kat, I want to know all these things about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just...
I do this in my free time. Best movie of all time is The Red Violin. My most watched TV show, probably Parks and Recreation. Anyway, so all those questions, those are still at least fairly normal getting to know you questions, right?
Yeah.
And now it takes a turn into, I think they might try to clone me.
Uh-oh.
Here's the next set of questions is, what restaurants do you frequent? Do you have a favorite snack? What's your beverage of choice?
I mean, these sound all like things where it's on your birthday we're gonna get you something.
Right. I think it seems nice, normal questions, maybe because they do actually have a fully
what
stocked
restaurants
snack.
do you frequent? That is a bit like when we replace you with a pod person. That's
Right.
where they will be going.
Right. Now here's the next set of questions. This is where it gets kind of name a couple of your pet peeves. What is something truly unique about you? What is one thing you really want to learn in the next 12 months? Anything else you'd like to warn us about?
Warn us.
Oh my god, okay.
That was the final question on the survey. Anything else you'd like to warn us about?
Was this mandatory?
Yes. These were all required questions.
I really don't. Even if... Okay, don't get me wrong. That last question is deeply ominous and cursed, but also the fact that it's mandatory and it's tell us what you do in your free time. I don't like it.
I would lie.
Oh, I mean,
Me too.
I made up, completely normal person answers for most of these things.
Right.
But, what's something truly unique about you? I thought this was just a getting to know you question. I thought this was all just, weird stuff that HR would put in a file somewhere and they'd bring it out at my birthday to, find a good gift card to get me. So I answered it all more or less truthfully, but sounding more or less like a normal person.
Yes.
On my first day, they send out an email to the whole company.
Oh no.
And they cherry picked some answers from my thing. One of which being because they said, "What's something truly unique?" I said, "Well, I have a Dungeons and Dragons podcast."
No!
Catherine!
Is this legal?
And it went out to the whole company.
Can they do this?
Yes, they did it. It was a nice thing of and then
Oh my
so
god.
now here's
If anyone at my job ever knows I have a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, I will leave the state.
We
so
have
now
to
it's-
quit. We have to stop.
Between being cyber stalked by IT on day one and having my secrets exposed by HR, I can never leave this company now. They know too much.
You're right.
They have all my secrets. They're also giving me really good benefits.
That's how they get you.
It's full medical and dental. I can't quit.
Those benefits are for your body double.
I mean, that might be true. That might
You're right,
be freaking
Jennifer.
true. So, anyway, before I am replaced by a body double, unless I already have been, let's play D&D.
I'm almost afraid to ask you to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Kat. I'm your DM. I've definitely been here the whole time.
Hi, I'm Noelle. Kat has several just like personal tics and gestures that I don't think she had before. And I play Fran.
Hi, I'm Juniper. I haven't noticed anything different about Kat. She seems completely normal to me. But
That's it. Sometimes people just end a sentence with "but," and we just have to accept it.
Hi, I'm Hannah. And is there anything else you'd like to warn us about?
Kat, is there anything else you'd like to warn us about?
I found this picture in my notebook of these stick figures in a cone. I don't know what this was supposed to
I
illustrate.
think this is what Kat's warning us about.
I think if it was the real cat, she would know what the stick figure in
You're
the
right.
cone
This
was
cat
supposed
doesn't
to
remember
illustrate.
because this is not the real cat.
What's something only the real cat would know?
Yeah, cat.
That's what they should ask you on the survey.
Oh my god!
So
Next
fucked up.
time we onboard
Yeah.
a new freelancer, that's
Yeah,
what we're gonna
that's
ask.
what we're gonna ask. We're gonna be like,
We gotta send out a memo to Rudy
Yeah.
right away.
we really need to get Rudy. Like,
just in case he's replaced by a body double.
If you
from
were to be
work.
killed and replaced, what's one thing that someone would ask you to make sure that you are really yourself?
Anyway, hey, so what last time?
do you remember, Kat, what happened last time?
Oh my
Here's the
god,
thing.
it's been so fucking
I
long.
genuinely sort of don't.
Oh, I was asking that as part of the bit.
No, I know, but it's been so long since we recorded. I genuinely sort of don't. Strong Selny took you to Esudel Rent-A-Car, and you guys rented a cart. She got you on the road, and shortly after, Corbin, you spotted your sexy old assistant, Swan Rockson, being kidnapped by some weirdos, and you did what you do best, and you jumped off of the moving vehicle. You were...
Okay, yeah,
How
this,
could you
it's all
forget?
coming back to me now.
How could you forget?
Right. You were immediately apprehended by this group of cultists. You tried to signal to the others that you were fine being taken captive. It was no big deal. Slake did not believe you, and then Slake jumped out of the moving car.
Slake had a crisis of personal morality. And
Yeah, Slake
That's
jumped
good.
out of the moving car, came and rescued you and Swan Rockson, tried to do a really cool thing by, like, getting their pick into a moving car. Failed. Got hurt. Tried again. Got hurt, but didn't fail. And you guys managed to get back on the road, speeding towards Fran, Mary, and Selny, who were still in the cart. Couldn't stop.
We were chasing Swan Rockson's
Yeah, we were chasing-
vehicle.
Yeah.
That's right. You
Yes.
were chasing Swan Rockson's vehicle. Fran pulled out some big magic.
Firewall.
Yeah, I think it was an
I think it was
ice
a fake
spear?
firewall.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a fake firewall and a real ice spear.
Yeah.
Which brought traffic on the, what was it, the 17C?
35W.
Yeah, 35W 17C exit. It brought that to a screeching halt. All your carts started stopping, and a police cart approached Fran and Mary's cart. Slake and Corbin, you are still a ways back, but you can see Fran's firewall and ice spear from where you are. That's where you are now.
As soon as our cart starts to stop, I want to jump out and run.
Me too.
Are we on a bridge?
Well, yeah, you are. You're on a big bridge.
Okay.
You're on the 35W bridge.
I
Okay.
run straight toward the firewall.
I do too.
So Selny she does not even move from the cart. She just looks so disappointed in all of you.
I start gathering together my people, and I start hurrying towards the edge of the bridge, which I am planning to just jump off.
Selny looks back at you guys and says, "Don't even try it.
What?
Just come back here.
Are
You're
we-
gonna get in worse trouble without me than you will with me. Although this will probably be my death."
And you guys thought I was gonna get captured?
You are about to get captured.
Mary waves from where Swan is and signs, "He's okay. Mostly."
Sally, we should get out of here.
Selny shakes her head, and as she is shaking her head, two flashing lights come charging through the illusory fire.
Corbin lays down on the ground and pretends to be a victim.
Selny gets out of her cart and stands with one foot up on the body of the cart. Takes off her goggles. She stands with her hands on her hips as two uniformed officers come out of each of the other two carts. And they look at her and then look at each other and go, Lady Selny, we didn't expect this. And she nods and goes, yeah, neither did I. All right, guess you're going to take us to Volninth? They look at each other and say, yes, we will. And they look at each other again like they're not really sure if they're supposed to do this because she is the king's wife, but and they go, yes, we will take you to see King Volnith directly. Are these magic users with you?
Corbin rolls around on the ground and he goes, oh, my body!
I shake my head. I shake my head.
Run over by 12 cards.
I shake my head. I'm like, I don't know. I'm standing directly in front of the firewall that's still burning.
And they look at you three a bit warily, and they have their hands on their crossbow guns. I go, are you gonna come quietly?
I look at Selny.
I also look at Selny.
Corbin rolls on the ground.
Are you suffering from high-quality podcasts? You see, quality podcasts stimulate parts of your brain, leading to an irksome condition called thinking. But suffer no more, my friend. Introducing Discount Storytime's blend of fictional nonsense and rancid gibberish to provide soothing relief. Try Discount Storytime today. Available on most podcast catchers and at discountstorytime.com.
Consult your healthcare provider before listening to Discount Storytime. Not intended to treat unicyclitis, pickleball liver, or jittering expectations.
Yeah, they're gonna come quietly.
Is Swan Rockson like...
Swan Rockson, when you look over to him, he is clutching both of Mary's hands and weeping profusely.
That seems good. Selny, this better not fucking backfire.
Selny shakes her head and motions, come on.
Whenever I jump off a bridge, all my friends jump too. I don't know what's going on, Selny, that you won't jump off the bridge.
Selny looks at you and goes, we're not friends.
Selny, that was really hurtful.
Selny, I don't know if I can be your friend after this.
I'm ready to jump off the bridge with you right now, Fred.
After everything we've been through.
We're family.
Selny walks away from you guys over to where Mary and Swan are. As she is coming over, Mary hastily shushes Swan, whatever he is saying. But he is still weeping profusely as he looks up at her. And she just signs him, you're safe now. For now. And Selny looks at her and says, can he stand? And Mary looks down at him and he nods and she helps him up to his feet. And y'all, Swan barely resembles your beautiful lab assistant from Estra. In fact, you're barely even sure this is the same dwarf. His glossy black hair and beard are streaked with stone gray, and there's a mottled scar across the right side of his face. His arms and hands are scraped raw from his fight with his captors, and there's bite marks around one of his scrapes. He looks at the rest of you and then looks over to Mary, and she points to Corbin and Fran and signs each of your names to him, and he nods, looks at Slake, and then he nods to you, Slake. He says, so you're protecting the Lady Mary now too?
Trying.
He just nods and he claps your arm with one hand and then moves towards where Selny is as Mary helps him that way. What do you guys do? You gonna get in the carts?
Fuck the police.
I know,
I want to
but
jump off the bridge.
but strong Betty Wolf of the waves. I feel like if we go now, she's never gonna be our friend.
No, you're right.
I mean, that is the most important thing.
I know.
Yeah, that is the most important thing. Well, Fran hugs Swan Rockson.
Mm-hmm. Corbin does too.
Tenderly.
Oh, he is just you can tell that these are not he's sad, but he's just emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and isn't he like the guy that was like, fuck you, we're definitely putting up the lanterns?
Well, he wasn't like, fuck
No,
you.
he was like, you guys don't know anything, you're children.
Yeah.
We're definitely
Yeah.
putting up the lanterns.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure he has a lot of complex
Emotions.
feelings
Yeah.
He's got a lot,
towards us.
Yeah.
a lot of feelings going on right now.
Yeah. Oh, Swan.
All right, so you pile into the police. They've got like one larger cart so that they can get all of you transported. The cart's on. The tracks begin to move again. The police escort brings you through the gold tunnel, and around you, it gets very dark as the carts take on a set automated pattern for traffic through these tight, narrow tunnels, which eventually spit you out in another part of the caverns. And this is clearly the Palace District. The building in the center is shining in sparkling gold, decorated by geometric patterns of cold iron woven into the stones. The buildings around it are all opalescent and jewel colors. They rise around the central palace in a beautiful pattern that, when viewed from above, there's probably some dwarven significance to it, but you have no idea what it could possibly mean. The streets here are much quieter, much fewer people as you whiz through them, but you get the sense that it's not usually this quiet. People poke out from door frames to look at the escort of guards, and you see a child pulled quickly inside as you go by. You go through to the center of this district, up to the palace gates and through. As you pass under the main gate, you see a beautiful, intricate mosaic has been laid onto the interior of the arch of this gate, showing dwarves sealing themselves away from the outside world. You come through the gate and your cart stops, and the guards get out and look at each other and then look at Selny, who also gets out and just stands with her arms crossed. A guard comes up to the others who had just escorted you there and immediately comes to a screeching halt and looks at Selny and then looks at you guys and says, Lady Selny, we are supposed to escort the prisoners. And Selny waves a hand and says, take us to my husband. The guard does not look happy about that, but he nods. And then he goes, well, I don't think it's a good idea to bring them into the interior of the palace. And she says, fine, make him come here. He can get up off that throne for once. And the guards skitter away, except for the escort that is accompanying you. And Sally looks at you guys. She shakes her hand and goes, you're more trouble than you're worth. I should have just let you die out there.
I don't want to bring semantics into this, but technically we actually saved your life, so. Love you, Selny. I love you, Selny. I love you so much. I'm so sorry.
So Mary takes the opportunity to turn to Swan and say, What happened to you? He clears his throat. He says, well, after receiving your sign, I made my way to that secret entrance, the one that leads from the ocean. I slipped in as the last of the dwarves were retreating into Esudel from the city above, and I knew there had to be some alternate way in and out of the city because they're still getting fresh produce, stuff they don't grow down here. So I followed one of them and found that entrance. I figured that must be where you would get in. But when I was making my way there, those gray-robed, I don't know what they are. They grabbed me, and I had a scrape on my arm already, and one of them tried to take a bite out of me, and then they hustled me away.
Like your blood was enticing to them?
Wait.
Selny looks up at that, and she doesn't say anything, but her brow furrows.
Selny, what do you know?
Tell me, together we'll grow.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Why won't you tell me?
Roll me a persuasion check, please.
Tell me
If
here's
that wasn't
our
enough to get
beautiful
persuaded
song.
outside of a check, I don't know.
I can't see what I rolled.
I've done badly.
I've not done goodly.
So we probably all failed.
You sing Selny that song and she is unmoved. She is unmoved by your song.
Is that a thing? I look at Fran and Corbin.
What?
The biting.
Vampires, yeah. You don't know about vampires, Slake?
I mean,
Mary
in
signs-
fiction.
Mary signs vampires aren't real, Corbin.
Oh, Mary, famous last words. You have sealed the fate of this entire arc.
Selny rolls her eyes and she says, they're not vampires.
But you know what they are.
Then what kind of pyres are they?
What are they?
She does not say anything because you did not persuade her to tell you.
Tell me! Why would you tell me?
Selny, if we're gonna be best friends, we have to be honest with each other.
You're
No.
not my friends.
You're like a mother to me.
Tell me.
So the courtyard that you're standing in, there is a set of stairs that lead up to another set of gates and into the palace proper. From these gates, a stately old dwarf emerges. He has silver hair plaited into like an elaborate style that's woven around his heavy bronze crown that's inset with beautiful jewels. He's wearing these long golden robes that are trimmed with a white fur. And he stops at the top of the stairs and he glares down at Selny, who like picks up a hand and just sort of wiggles her fingers at him.
I elbow Selny and I'm like, he can get off his throne.
I glare back at this guy because he's glaring at Selny.
I look like I'm disassociating because that's what I'm doing.
And Selny says, you gonna come down the stairs or would you trip on your robes on the way down?
Oh my god.
And,
I just got a sexy vibe from Selny.
I did too.
well, they aren't married.
I know, but I'm just saying. Up to that, I was like, oh, it's just contempt, but now it's sexy contempt.
Yeah, it's sexy contempt. Yeah, like they're into roleplay for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, according to Selny, they are not romantically involved, but
Oh,
But
forgot about that.
that
Oh my
doesn't mean that they
God.
can't have sexy
It's
contempt for
true.
each other.
all right, so the king glares, but he does not go down the stairs. And he says, so I've just received reports that you were in the middle of a high-speed cart chase on the tunnel bridge involving several occurrences of magic.
I shake my head. I shake my head.
No, that sounds like a false report, sir. You should check with your guy on that one.
I did not use any magic personally.
I don't even know what magic is.
I didn't have magical relations with that bridge.
And Selny shrugs. Well, you certainly weren't doing anything about the problems that we're having, so I brought in outside help. She says, like any of this was her idea.
You know, I'm starting to feel like the reason Fran and Selny are butting heads is because they're too much alike.
They seem similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I was going to say, Selny's like, I'm the leader.
And the king, he flushes red
I would too.
and
Sexy.
takes 2 steps down the stairs and then stops again and he shakes his head and says, well, you might as well tell me what's going on.
You don't know what's going on in your own kingdom? Oh, I'm sorry.
And Selny looks back at you, Corbin. She shoots you a warning look.
Oops.
She says, my king, I will speak with you privately.
What?
You
Sorry, guys.
all
Corbin.
stay here. And she heads up the stairs and very dramatically, and while making direct eye contact with the king the entire time, she picks up the hem of his robe for him and then ascends the stairs with him.
Holy shit.
Oh my god, that's sexy!
to another mid-roll episode with me, your host, Noelle. I'm here to tell you that I'm so thankful to so many people. First up, I would love to thank our patrons on Patreon. Thank you to Eurasia, HTML5 supercomputer. Worrisome. I don't know about that. Thank you to Ren. Thank you to LJ. Thank you to Myrtily. And thank you to Nichelle. This voice is becoming steadily stranger and more disturbing, and possibly veering sideways into a Corbin impression. So let's dial that back. I would also like to thank our beautiful podcast app reviewers today. So thank you so much to Prey 82629. Thank you so much to Always Hopeful. That's what way to be always hopeful. Thank you to Jiggy Van Dam, Kawaii Caitlin, The Dark Monarch 624, and also Party Nobody Killer. Nobody in particular, but in a different order, I think. Thank you so much. I just appreciate each and every one of you. And all those people that I've named in this episode are my besties for life. So thank you for having so many sleepovers and confiding in me, and just being overall very good friends to me, personally and in real life. Thank you, my best friends. And speaking of my best friends, here is a podcast from the Geekspective Network.
Welcome back to Beholder to One Shot, where I'm joined by guests in the TTRPG community, and we play usually non-D&D one-shots.
Is a conglomeration of many Furbies.
Oh fuck.
15.
Dang it.
We're two baby adventurers.
We're level 4.
Is that the right direction?
Shh. Oh wait, we're speaking telepathically.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true that one of you has a really annoying voice.
No!
Each of you roll a die and explain why I shouldn't be the one to stomp you, or if you get an extra die for that.
I got a 6.
There's a good reason.
5.
It's also pretty good.
Got a 4.
Slightly
It's
good.
okay.
I made it to another town, but it's not stopping. Is it me? Am I causing this? Am I the reason? And they go into ramblings of a person who thinks that they are the one that is causing this chaos. Check us out wherever podcasts can be found every other Thursday on Beholder to No One.
Doesn't that sound wonderful? I don't know why I'm haunted now. Something made me haunted after listening to that advertisement. I've now become a little ghost. So Chantel, it's time for your message. Chantel, the code word is Caroline the Dragon. The sleeper agent is active, but only just. Go.
So Mary turns to Swan and signs, "Well, while we're waiting, you might as well debrief us. You've been here for a while. What have you found out?" And Swan Rockson takes a breath to speak before he looks around at the guards, pauses, and says, "We may not want listening ears to hear this conversation."
We'll just kill them.
He looks over at you, Corbin, and then at Mary, and she signs, "He's not serious."
Anime whisper
Can
huddle?
we use?
Yeah.
Oh, but can they understand Mary's sign language?
Yeah,
everybody can.
Yeah.
But everybody but Slake
can
does speak
speak
another
Estrid.
language.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like,
You can just fill me in later.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
You know what? Actually, Mary touches your arm, Slake, and she casts Comprehend Languages so that you can understand everybody. So you understand it, but you will have to return. You have to speak in common.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
All right. And then she angles herself away from the guards and signs, "We can speak in Estrin."
Oh.
You're a genius, Mary.
Mary.
Cool.
I say, shh, like.
Got it.
So she signs to Swan. So fill us in. What have you learned? Well, those gray-robed freaks who grabbed me. I know that they're part of a sect down here called the Titacairn. I don't know exactly what they do. It doesn't seem like anybody does, but they're the driving force behind a lot of the more magic-adjacent aspects of this city. Whatever they're doing, it's not magic, but it's not any sort of magic that I've been able to get a read on. They're doing something. They're definitely at least one of the origin points of a lot of the pro-Torva sentiment down here.
Why did they bite you?
I don't know that. They seemed really interested. I thought that they were kidnapping me because they're pro-Torva and they found out I was a spy, but they seemed a lot more interested in my blood.
What the fuck? Do people down here know about them?
They're a part of this society. They're a fringe part of it and sort of regarded as, I don't know, necessary evil. They have a whole workshop down on one of the lower tiers of the city, the industrial center. It's down through the green tunnel. They have a workshop where they run some sort of experiments, and apparently every 30 years or so they come out with some life-changing invention for the city, and for that they're tolerated.
Wait, do they have anything that could, let's just say replicate form, a person's form somehow?
What? Who's replicated?
I thought that I saw a certain handsome individual that we are all well acquainted with.
Down here?
You saw Wilbur?
It's like, no. It's like, no.
It's like, oh
Okay.
my god, it's like,
Wow.
that is so embarrassing for you.
Shut up!
Yeah, no, well, okay, I don't know. It looked like Phelan, but...
Oh, phew, I thought I was gonna be embarrassed too.
But then I don't think it was, or it was something that looked like him but wasn't him. I got a weird vibe off of it.
Swan shrugs and he says, I really don't know what they're doing there.
Did you see a handsome man, Swan Rockson?
Not a dwarf.
I haven't seen anybody but dwarves down here.
Why are you hallucinating my boyfriend, Corbin?
Listen, I've been hallucinating your boyfriend since the day I saw him, and that's not a secret. But this was different.
That's fair.
So Swan says, other than that, the most pro-Torva sentiment down here is down in they call it the red tier. It's the pleasure district, I guess you could say.
What?
Oh, what kind of pleasure?
He looks at you and he looks at you guys and then he seems to like process the fact that he's talking to a bunch of teenagers, and he goes, and then he looks at Mary, who he also realizes is a teenager. And Mary signs, it's okay, Swan. They're just acting stupid.
How dare you, Mary?
Mary, stop outing us!
We were gonna get him to tell us all about it. We were gonna get Swan Rockson to give us the talk, Mary.
Mary, we came so fucking close!
Mary ruined everything.
Mary signs, it's not the time, guys. But you see that she looks a little bit like, she's a little sad that she wasn't able to be in on the joke.
Wanted it too!
All right, so he says, well, anyway, in the red tier, it seems like a lot of the Torva sentiment has been being stirred up down there. There's something fishy going on in that district. People have been disappearing. I thought at first that they were just joining the cultists, but seems like that's only accounting for some of it. I haven't had enough time to figure out what's been going on down there. I've really only been inside the city proper for the last few weeks. when they started shutting the gates, when the Dragonborn attacked, I made a judgment call and figured I'd find my way out later.
Is there anything you can tell us about the kind of defenses they have set up? Do you have any idea how long they think they're going to hold?
Oh, they think they're going to hold forever. They don't think anything can get through the gates.
Well,
but
that's not the case.
That's my sentiment exactly. We didn't think Estra would fall, and he pauses and he swallows hard and he nods. But it did. They have barricades set up. Maybe you saw it on your way down to this level. They've got soldiers arrayed, but nobody thinks that the gates will break. They're sturdily made. I think they'll hold for quite some time, but I don't know. It just seems to me that the Dragonborn upstairs have just been doing the same things, just rattling the doors. I don't know that they really think they're going to get through.
Swan, Mr. Rockson, do you know anything about dwarven sacrifice being performed? Like, in the pit, in a dark, deep area of this
He shakes
place?
his head and he says, no, they don't perform any sort of sacrifices here. It's
Okay. They do. They do.
Yeah,
I just didn't know if you knew about it.
They definitely
They
do.
definitely do. Okay, cool.
Well, maybe that explains some of the people going missing from the red tier.
That is
You know
my
what?
thought as well.
Oh, Swan. That's why we brought you in on this one, Swan.
Yeah.
Glad you didn't get sacrificed.
He adjusts the collar of his shirt. He says, me too. Had enough near-death experiences in the last year.
I wonder if that's why they're interested in his blood, though.
Corbin, did you see them slurping the bodies?
Were
they slurping or what?
I mean, I've seen a lot of slurping in my day, but I didn't see that particularly happening. But I do wonder if maybe the blood has something to do with the type of person being sacrificed.
Could be. I haven't been able to find any rhyme or reason to who's going missing, but...
Do you have, like, tasty blood?
Do you think my blood is tasty?
No.
And Swan shakes his head and he says, I've had my mouth full of blood multiple times this year, and I can tell you for certain it does not taste good.
I bet it tastes better than Corbin's. Kind of shit he puts in his body.
I mean, that's why it would taste great.
Mary puts a hand on Swan's arm and then signs, you've done really well down here. Thank you. Thank you for being our advanced scout from Estra. Swan tears up a little bit. He says, my lady, anything you ask. And Mary looks a little uncomfortable about that.
Yep.
And she turns back to the rest of you.
My blood is salty.
Yeah, we know, Fran. We know.
I'm salty through and through.
My blood's probably fermented.
So, Swan, you've had a lot of near-death experiences.
Swan clears his throat, happy to move on from that subject, but not particularly happy to move into this one.
Your blood's probably toxic.
Still, though, he says, yeah, I didn't land with the rest of the Estrans, when the island fell. It was my friends and I, we were on the edge of the island to watch the ceremony, and we got flung way out, landed in the water. One of my friends, Andrel, he didn't make it to land, but the others and I, we ended up in this city. Eventually I found out it's called Nakama.
We've been there.
Yeah, we were pretty promptly robbed.
Oh, us too.
Yeah, it sounds like that's the traditional greeting for that city.
So, you fell onto that continent? You fell on Vola?
He nods. He says, from what I gather, I guess most of the rest of you fell down near Danmar, but we were on the edge of the island. The explosion flung us further out. I'm sure there are others who are still lost out there.
How did you find your way back to everyone else?
I didn't. We managed to scrape together the spell components to cast short bursts of comprehend language, just enough so that we could find some hard labor for a few coins, survive in the alleyways. One of my friends, she disappeared in the night. I still don't know what happened to her. We lived like that for months, and then one day the Estrins showed up in the harbor. And I thought I must have been dreaming. I was so far gone, I thought that maybe that was the end. I was seeing my ship come in, but then the Lady Leica was there, and Buddy, and he looks at Mary again, and he says, I prayed to you every day, and you answered my prayers, and my lady, I am forever grateful. And Mary, again, looks a bit uncomfortable, but she nods and she signs, I'm glad Leica and the others were able to find you.
How'd she look? She been working out?
Yeah, how buff is she? Scale of 1 to 100.
She looked well. And when I last left her, she despite everything, she's a very capable leader of New Estra. When she asked me to serve as a spy, I didn't want to at first, but her point was right. I'm one of the few who's actually experienced some of this world and figured out some of the language. With a little bit of work, I was able to figure out more, and I went down here to Beirun. I wasn't planning to go to Esudel, but like I said, once they were closing the gates, I knew we wouldn't get another chance to get someone in here, so I went for it, and that's how I got to be here.
You're a badass, Swan Rockson.
Wow.
Damn.
Desperate times. I'm glad you all are here now, though. I certainly feel better knowing that we have our goddess on our side.
We got Crazy Mary here, and she gonna fuck shit up.
The doors at the top of that staircase open up, and Selny leans through the doors, and she says, all right, guys, come on in. So Selny leads you up the steps and into the castle and takes an immediate left into a series of smaller hallways away from the main throne room and antechamber of the Dwarven court. After a minute of walking, she turns around and she looks at you all and sighs, looks over her shoulder, and then she looks back to you. I want you all to know that I don't trust you. At all. Not even a little bit.
What?
You're destructive miscreants, and you've proven already that you're just so much more trouble than you're worth.
I'll have you know.
What is this whole place being saved worth to you, Zelly?
That said,
I just feel like this is coming out of nowhere.
I don't understand.
All of that said, the political situation here in Esudel's gotten trickier since I was last here. The 9 families are bickering, and my husband doesn't want to take sides, so unfortunately, you might be the only ones who are actually going to do anything, which means you're going to have to trust me, okay? So just keep your mouth shut unless it's to say, yes, your highness, and go along with what he says.
I look at her and I say, yes, your highness.
She points at you, Fran. She does the, fingers, eyes. Then looks at you, Corbin, and you, Slake.
Slake is they have their lips turned inward to prevent themselves from saying anything.
Corbin says, what part about my personality would make you think that I am not impeccably good at...
she points at you, Corbin, says, you don't say anything at all.
I was...
Nope.
Oh, we need somebody to get some tape for me.
Corbin, we need you not to say anything, but...
just lifts their hands up and stares really intensely at Fran as if to say, what does that mean?
Mary signs, I don't understand why you guys are so bad at this.
Mary.
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 Yes, your highness.
Yes, your highness.
Does she like that?
Selny rolls her eyes, but Mary signs laughing.
Yeah, she does.
All right. So Selny, after giving you all a very stern look, Corbin, she looks most sternly and for the longest at you. And then she turns around and opens a pair of double doors. King Volanth is waiting in this small antechamber. It's decorated with a mural showing dwarves in industry, creating some great work. 2 guards step in front of the exit as the doors shut and rest their pole axes on the ground, crossing them. The king is accompanied by a larger-than-average dwarf. As wide as he is tall, swathed in dark blue robes, and shaved bald except for his silvery beard. Around his neck there is a silver key on a thick chain, with a sapphire inlaid in the bow. He rests his hands on his expansive stomach as he sits in a state of repose on the king's left, but his blue eyes are piercing and his gaze carves into you. Fran, what?
Worm tongue! What?
What is your spell save DC?
It's 17.
17? Okay. King Volanth sits on a sturdy gold throne with a low back, his elbows resting on the carved monsters which adorn the arms of the chair, his fingers steepled in front of him. Selny nods to the king, and then casts a sideways look at the dwarf in blue robes. I present the king of all the Warrens and the cities under the earth, benefactor of the 9 families, father of all deep children, protector of Esudel and her outlying tributaries, King Demethian Volanth. And the esteemed representative from the family of Tern, Counselor Answell Tern. The king leans forward slightly and says, "My wife tells me that you have come from the surface to stop the god Torva. That the few who were left behind in Rudval when we shut the gates equipped you with magical items and spells from the outside world to come down and stop the fighting so that we may reopen the gates." You see Tern narrows his eyes a little bit. He looks very sharply at Selny.
This guy sees through our disguises, y'all. He knows we're not dwarves.
Something's up with this dude.
But I bow and I say, "Yes, Your Highness."
Selny gives you an approving look, Fran.
I mouth "Yes, Your Highness" to her.
I want to roll
Insight.
What do you want to find
and
out?
I want to see if I want to see if he's like a Torva
guy.
If I get Torva vibes.
If
off
you
of
get
him.
Torva vibes, okay.
Yeah.
You look in his eyes and you see like a reflection of Torva's face.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a tiny Torva tower.
Yeah, there's just a little tower.
Okay, yeah, you can roll insight on that. I don't know what sort of useful information you'll get, but what did you roll?
I mean,
What are you looking for as a sign of a Torva vibe? Like,
Is he,
I want to.
How much purple is he wearing? Does he have any
blue?
Let me rephrase. I want to.
Brought their color to purple.
I want to see what his intentions are towards us, good or bad.
You want to see his intentions.
Okay, all right, sure. You want to just want to vibe check him.
Yeah,
basically.
I'm vibe
You want to vibe
checking him.
check? Okay.
24.
24. You get the vibe that this guy sees right fucking through you guys.
Yup.
He sees absolutely right fucking through you.
He probably has true sight or some shit. I mean,
and you also get with a roll that high because you see everything basically.
I have very good insight.
You insight him. You see that he does not. He sees right fucking through you, but his vibe is not necessarily hostile.
Okay.
It is not hostile, but it is not.
He's not like about to
He's
be like,
not-
they're intruders.
Right.
Or like
And
he's not.
And he's not about, I mean, he could have said immediately.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't get the vibe that he's gonna like call you out and be explicitly hostile towards you.
Okay.
But nor do you get the vibe that he's going to do anything that is beneficial to you in any way.
All right.
Okay. That's valid. He's got good boundaries.
Okay.
So
He's got to be a worm tongue. Maybe he's a worm tongue for good.
Maybe he's a red
Maybe
herring.
he's a chaotic worm tongue.
Maybe he's a worm tongue.
Maybe he's a.
so that's what you see
Okay.
from him.
Cool.
So the king continues. My wife has also told me that you forced your way through one of her gates, but that having come from the surface only recently, she understands your desperation, and she has advised clemency.
Yes, Your Highness.
Thank you, Your Highness.
I look at Slake like, oh, you said something forbidden.
Slake slaps their hands over their mouth like they've made a huge mistake.
The king sort of inclines his head to you, and he says, Your aim to bring peace to the surface is noble, but you have been here less than an hour and brought naught but chaos and fear into the heart of our civilization, and this cannot stand. You will be stripped of your belongings and imprisoned to await full trial.
I stare really intensely at Selny, and then back at the king, and then back at Selny.
I also stare at Selny.
I stare passively at Wormtongue.
Yeah.
I want to unsettle him.
Selny keeps an absolutely straight face. She does not give anything away to you guys. Councilman Taryn clears his throat. If I may interject, my liege.
His voice.
A public trial will only incite further unrest among the people. I suggest a private council trial. I would also ask that their belongings be transmitted to the Titacairn to be studied and properly disposed of. And King Volant nods. As you say, Councillor Taryn, we will have their belongings transferred to you by the end of the day. I will bring the topic of the mode of trial up at the next meeting of the council and see what the others say. Very wise, Your Highness.
I narrow my eyes at Councilman Wormtongue.
Yeah, Selny, you hear her go, snake.
Okay.
But neither the king nor the councillor acknowledge her. This is my judgment. Guards, take their belongings, take them to the dungeons.
Joke's on them, I never use my belongings anyways.
I would like to form a telepathic bond between all of us.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. What do you have to do to form a telepathic bond? What is?
I have to forge a telepathic link.
Do you need to do any ninjutsu hand signs?
That's a great question. Let me.
Do you need any time? Like, what's the casting time on that?
The casting time is 1 action.
Okay.
It says ritual all capital. Yes.
What?
Okay, so that means.
So I think I have to do something.
You do have to do something. So that's not something you can do
immediately.
So actually, what I'm going to have you do then is roll a sleight of hand check.
Okay. All right, because I'm doing I'm doing Naruto.
You're doing your Naruto hand gestures, but you're doing them very quickly and very stealthily. But let's see.
I got 11.
Okay.
Can I body check Fran to try and disguise and assist?
All right, Corbin. Corbin, roll another sleight of hand check.
Okay.
See if you can cover Fran's mistake.
Body check?
Yeah, I don't know,
slam into me?
Yeah, word, shield you with my body.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not what I was picturing.
That's not what body check means.
I know.
That's why.
I'm checking.
Can I knock Fran to the ground to help distract?
Well, I rolled a 2. So
Corbin, you step in front of Fran in the most obvious attention-drawing way humanly possible.
Maybe that helps, though.
Yeah, maybe. We do now have a telepathic bond.
You have a telepathic bond. Is there anything you want to say at that telepathic bond real quick?
What the fuck, Selny?
Selny short screws up her face for a minute and then gives you a very sharp look and mouths, "Trust me."
She can say it across the bond.
She's not going to.
Fine.
And
here's the bond, Selny.
As a consequence for your actions, the counselor lifts one finger and points towards you and says, I saw her. She was using a spell. Guards, the irons.
Oh, God.
And another set of guards appears at the door as they open, and they have pairs of anti-magic cold iron manacles.
God damn it.
Which they do clap you in. Slake, you feel nothing. You feel fine. They're just handcuffs.
Wait, did they put them on me too?
They put them on all of you. Corbin and Fran, you both feel pretty bad. It feels like a cold, sucking sensation at the center of your chest. Mary almost collapses under the weight of the irons. She looks immediately ashen. The makeup you guys put on her to cover her gold stuff is probably peeling a bit by now. You have been submerged in water and stuff, so you can see a little bit of the gold marks on her face, and you see just the color drain out of her. She looks bad once she gets these manacles on. One of the guards grabs her roughly by the elbow to get her back up on her feet, and the guards take Fran. They take your bag. Corbin, they take your stick. Slake, they take your picks.
Not the stick.
I know, my cool stick.
Your cool stick.
God damn it, we look so much less cool now.
You really
idiots
do.
Now.
You really do. All of your magical items are stripped from you, and your non-magical items, they are not taking any chances.
Jeez.
So as you guys are being taken out of the antechamber, Councilman Taryn says, hold, please. That one. And he points to Swan Rockson and he says, bring him to the Titacairn, if you please.
No.
And Swan looks at you guys with very wide eyes. But before you are able to do anything, the guards whisk him away.
Corbin, looks at him with an all-knowing gaze.
Oh.
That we will come for him.
Mm-hmm. And then you are escorted down into the twisting passages of the Undercastle, down spiraling staircases and away from the light and noise of the palace. The cold and damp press in on you. Except for Slake, this feels, like a nice, fun, homey place. But for the others, the only light comes from the mushrooms that glow blue in clusters along the wall and cast eerie shadows as you walk past them. When the guards finally shut the door of your cell, the only sound is your own breathing. Fran, Corbin, and Mary, you all feel sick and cold. And if you try and touch the bars, you find they are made of the same cold anti-magic iron as your shackles. The walls are inlaid with a lattice of fine threads of the stuff too, and when you get too close, you feel dizzy. There are stalactites which cling to the ceiling and drip into stony mounds on the floors. Mary lays down in the center of the cell and rests her cheek against the cold floor. Corbin and Fran, you have disadvantage on all rolls until you escape, and you are unable to cast any magic while in this cell. Good luck! She does not give anything away to you guys. Worm tongue, or don't rename my characters after someone else's IP. I don't want to get sued by Tolkien's ghost.
Yeah, he'll do it.
Yeah, he will do it.
He'll do it.
All right, Taryn.